What's going on, everybody? So today I just wanted to show off my Stephen King collection, books and a couple movies. It's a relatively small collection, so I figured this would be a good starting point, and I can film some updates on when I get some newer stuff. So anyway, let's get into it. So I'll start off with mass market paperbacks, and the first one I have is Salem's Lot. And I am currently reading this one. I've got about 100 pages or so to go. So far, I really like it, and I can't wait to finish it. So, the next one, or the next two, were given to me by a friend who read both of them. They're both Richard Bachman books. But the first one is Roadwork. Now, my friend liked it, but didn't think it was anything special. So, but I've read the summary of it, and I think it sounds really interesting. And I think this is Stephen King's favorite book that he wrote as Richard Bachman. So I'm excited to start that one. And then the second one is Blaze. Now, my friend really liked this one, so I'm excited to get into this one, and this might be the book that I read next, or at least the next Stephen King book that I read. So, yeah, excited to get into that one. But that's it for paper or mass market paperbacks. So right now, I'll get into the first edition hardcovers. I pretty much only collect first edition hardcovers. So the first one that I have is the earliest one that I have is The Eyes of the Dragon, and I got this in a used bookstore for about $6. It's not in bad shape. There's a little rip down here. There's some crinkling on the spine of the dust jacket, but other than that, it's not in bad shape. So I'm looking forward to reading this one because it's kind of an oddity, since it's just straight up fantasy for the most part. But so yeah, excited for that one. The next one is a classic. It is Misery. I also found this in a used bookstore for about $6, and I think that was a pretty good price because this copy is in pretty good condition. There's no rips or anything in the dust jacket. There might just be a little bit of spine crinkling down there, and just a little bit of staining on the bottom of the book. Not much, but a little bit. But overall, I think it's in pretty good condition. So I think I've read this book before, a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, but I can't remember anything about it. So I'm excited to start that one. I have seen the movie though, so I do more or less know what happens, but excited to read it. The next one I've read, The Tommyknockers, and I liked this book. I thought it was pretty good. It was overly long, I thought, at about 560 pages, but I thought it was enjoyable. But this copy right here is not in great condition. There's some rips in the dust jacket, a lot of spine crinkling up here. There's some staining on the bottom and sides and top of the book, and on the inside of the dust jacket there is a nice big water stain. So I'll be looking for another copy of this, another first edition copy, but it's not an unreadable copy, but yeah, I could use a new one. Anyway, the next book that I have is Gerald's Game, and I got this in Goodwill for $1, so I was happy about that. And it's in actually really good shape. There's no tears in the dust jacket, and maybe just a little bit of spine crinkling right here. The only thing is that looking at it this way, there's a really small warp that kind of does this. Not to that extent, but yeah. But otherwise, it's a pretty good copy. The next book that I have is a collection of short stories called Nightmares and Dreamscapes. And this is the thickest King book that I have. I don't know if it really counts because it's a lot of short stories, but if we're just talking page count, this has the most pages out of all the books that I have. But it's in pretty good condition. No rips on the dust jacket. There's a little... It's sort of rolled outwards up here. But other than that, it's not in bad shape for a book that's about 25, almost 30 years old. But I got this for, I think, $12.50, which at a used bookstore, which might be a little bit expensive, but I don't really care. I think I'm just glad I have it. The next books that I have are 5 of the 6 Green Mile books. Now, the one that I'm missing is the first one. I got all of these at Goodwill for about $1 each. So, $5, that's not bad. But yeah, I'm missing the first one. I'm guessing someone saw it was the first book, and probably picked it up just to see if they'd like it. But I guess I'm alright with the only one that I'm missing being the first one, because now I can't be tempted to start reading it, and then if I was missing, say, part 2, I wouldn't be able to continue reading it, and that would be annoying. But anyway, yeah, I got the last 5 all in first edition paperback. I still put them in with the hardcovers because they are first edition. And the next book is The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, a much smaller book, both size-wise and page-wise. It's not very thick. But this copy is almost brand new. I got it in a used bookstore for, I think, $11. So, kind of a lot for this book, but it does look almost brand new. There's no spine creasing, maybe just a little bit right up there, but that's really the only thing wrong with it. So, I'm actually really excited to start this one. I like the premise of it, and the fact that it's so short, when Stephen King is primarily a long book writer. I think that's going to be interesting. So, anyway, the next book that I have is the newest edition. I got it at a library book sale, and that's Everything's Eventual, another short story collection. Seems interesting. I've heard, let's see, what stories are in this one. Let's see. I've seen the movie for 1408. That's probably the most famous one. I've listened to an audio version of The Road Virus Heads North on YouTube. And I've listened to an audio of Everything's Eventual on YouTube as well. But all the rest of the stories, I don't know what they're about. But yeah, I'm excited to read that. I like short story collections because I don't have to read it all at once. If I only have, maybe 45 minutes or an hour, I could probably get a short one out of the way. But anyway, the next one I also got at Goodwill from a Buick 8. I got this for, I think, $2. And it's almost brand new. It's even got the original price sticker up there. But there's really no... There might be a little crease, a couple creases up there. But other than that, there's really nothing wrong with this copy. It's almost brand new. But this one I'm not very interested in, just because it's got the haunted car theme. That doesn't really interest me too much. Same thing, I'm not really interested in Christine either, even though I think the movie is considered one of the better Stephen King adaptations, even though I've never seen it. But anyway, the next one is, I think, the only nonfiction book by him that I have, and that's Faithful. About the 2004 Red Sox season. Now, I live in the Northeast, so the Red Sox are more or less my team. And I'm not big on sports, but if I had to pick a favorite, I think baseball would be my favorite. So I'm not super excited to read this, but I think it'll be interesting, if nothing else. But I found this in a used bookstore as well for I think $5. It was one of those things that I saw on the way out, and I'm like, oh, I got to get that too. But yeah, Faithful. He wrote that in collaboration with Stuart Onan, if you couldn't tell from looking at the cover. But anyway, the next one that I have is Cell. And I think pretty much overpaid for this book. I paid like $10 for this book for a used copy. And I mean, it's not in bad condition. There's a little bit of creasing up here. But other than that, it's not in very bad condition. But this is just a really common book. So I think $10 might have been a little bit too much. But, hey, whatever. I'm not dying to read this one either. Because the premise just doesn't interest me. I'm not too much of like a zombie fan. But, yeah, Cell. The next one I found at a used bookstore is Blockade Billy. Now, this isn't a first edition. It's got the bonus story, Morality. But I've read both of these stories, and I liked both of them, but I didn't think either of them were really great. I thought Blockade Billy was more interesting, even though I'm not big into sports. But, yeah, Morality I thought was kind of boring. The premise sounded all right, but it wasn't great. But anyway, yeah. And then another book, the next one, Revival, one of his newer books. I think it came out in 2014. But this one I am actually really excited to read. This is probably one of the next King books that I'm going to read. But this is almost brand new. No spine crinkling, maybe just a little crease up there. But yeah, I think I paid $7 or $8 for this one, so not too bad. But then the first book that I bought from an actual bookstore from Barnes & Nobles is Sleeping Beauties. And yeah, I bought this new, and I really haven't even touched it since then. I actually don't know what this book's about that much, but from what I have heard, it doesn't really interest me that much, but I will read it pretty soon. And but I think this is the longest book, or at least continuous story from Stephen King that I have, at about 700 pages. So I'll read that pretty soon. And then his newest book, The Outsider. I bought this the day it came out, again at, no, it wasn't at Barnes & Noble this time, it was at BAM. But yeah, bought this the day it came out, and I really love that cover, and I know I'm going to like this book more than Sleeping Beauties. It just interests me more, and I've started reading the first few pages, and I'm not hooked, but it interests me. It interests me a lot. So, anyway, yeah. That is all of the Stephen King books that I have. Now just to a couple of movies. The first movie is Stand By Me. I've seen this a few times, mostly on TV. Really good movie. So, I like that movie. And then the next one is Storm of the Century. Actually, the same friend who gave me Blaze and Roadwork gave me this movie. So, yeah. I watched this as well, and I thought it was really long, but it was pretty good. Could have been shorter, though. But anyway, yeah, that is my whole Stephen King collection. So I will probably give a few updates as I get more stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day.